Anyway, what are some ways you guys can earn money as young ladies or kids? That is the icebreaker question.
Can you call on them and let them go? We only got like a couple of minutes.
Okay. Zanaya, do you want to go first?
I'll say probably like washing people's cars or babysitting.
I think I've done both of those as kids when I was younger. Denaya?
I would say like doing extra chores for like extra allowance or something.
Diani?
I would say you can like do stuff for your neighbors, like mow their lawn or walk their dog and stuff like that.
Calvary?
Selling lemonade.
Never tried that, but I don't know. Shay, do you want to share?
Maybe like sell clothes, or if you have like a hobby or something you can charge for.
Miss Felicia?
You can do like jewelry making or something like that and have an Etsy shop.
Those are all good ideas. Some of them I have not tried, but Shay's, I have tried that before. I've done painting and drawing in the past, but I haven't done that recently. But have you guys tried doing any ways of savings? Saw some head shaking, no. Well, you guys should try it. Because I can just say you will save a lot. Because I didn't expect for myself to save as much as I did, but you never know. Over to you, Miss Felicia.
Okay. For you guys that didn't do the bonsai, I'm going to share the screen. And for those that did, we're going to go over the pre-test or the post. I think they're both the same, so I'll probably just show the pre-test. I'm going, where am I going? Sample student, open account. So we got a little leaderboard. The boys beat y'all. Caprici, Shay came in second. Yamaya came in third, it looks like. So when you guys log in, I guess this is what you see. So we'll go to Bonsai Junior. We start, and we're going to do the pre-test. So you guys are going to answer the questions. So an IOU is an example. And if Jordan, do you want to, if you see somebody raise their hand, whoever wants to answer.
Okay. You guys want to take a guess as to what an IOU is?
Savings account, your favorite band, a personal loan, or a spending plan?
Denaya?
Maybe D.
Which one?
She said B.
D.
D.
A spending plan. Have you guys heard of an IOU? Like you owe somebody something, so it's like an IOU. So it's a personal loan, basically. You owe somebody something. Okay. Second one, how does your money grow once you put it into a savings account? We have the bank gives you more money over time. The money fairy appears and adds more every year. Your mom puts money in your account every birthday, or it doesn't grow. The amount stays the same until you add to it yourself.
Zanaya.
Is it D?
That your money doesn't grow. You remember, was it last week? We were kind of going through the workbook. It was something that the bank does. They give you something for your savings account. So it's called interest. So it's A, the bank gives you more money over time, even if it's just a penny, something. So sometimes it's a low interest. If it's a low interest rate or a higher interest rate, depending on what it is, the bank will give you money in your savings account. Okay, 3. Which of these is not an example of income? Money you earn from your lemonade stand. Money your grandma gave you for your birthday. Money you borrowed from your friend, or money you get for an allowance. So it's income, money that you make. Kind of.
Deani.
Is it C?
Because you're borrowing the money. So that was correct. Do you guys want to read, or you want me to keep reading?
Calvary.
Sorry, I'm using my mom's tablet. Can you keep reading?
What is a good example of a financial goal? To save for a college fund, to buy a new guitar and pay for lessons, to earn enough to buy a pet hamster, or all of the above?
Calvary.
B.
That's one of them.
Zanaya.
All the above.
All of them could be a financial goal. We kind of talked about that last week, what you guys want to save for.
Calvary, can you mute yourself? Okay.
What's the best way to make change at the grocery store? Using the most coins and dollars possible, using the fewest coins and dollars possible, using only coins, or all of the above. Anybody want to take a guess?
Zanaya.
Is it A?
Using the most coin? You want to use the most coins? Okay. You want to try to use the fewest coins and dollars as possible, so you're not sitting there holding up the line, counting out pennies. If you have a quarter, you'd rather use a quarter than 25 pennies, right? So you want to try to use the fewest coins and dollars possible. Okay, 6. Why would someone create a budget? To keep track of money earned and money spent, to find out how much money they will earn, to keep track of how much money is in their savings, or none of the above.
Zanaya.
Is it A?
Yes. You want to keep track of money earned and money spent. Exactly. Okay. Let's see. Which of the following could be considered a business expense? Back to school clothes, the money you put into your savings account every month, fees for your soccer team, or the dog treats you bought for your dog walking job. So what's a business expense? Jordan? Anybody? Who's on here?
You want me to guess?
Danaya, you want to try?
B.
So a business expense. So business is like a job or something that you have, and expense is something you're spending on that job. So
D.
who said that?
Deny.
Did somebody say D? Yeah, D, the dog treats you bought for your dog walking job. So the job is your business, and the treats is the expense. Any of you guys walk dogs?
When I go to my mom's house,
When I go to my aunt's house.
I gotta walk 3 pit bulls at the same time. So.
Who's the math? You make $12.75 running lemonade. Y'all might need a piece of paper. $12.75 running a lemonade stand with your BFF. If your supplies cost $3.75 to purchase and you split the profit equally with your friend, how much money will you make? You have $12.75, you spend $3.75, and then you split the profit equally between you and a friend. How much will you make? Calvary?
$9.00.
So that's after you buy your supplies, but then you have to split it with your friend. So if you
Wow.
split the $9, how much will you get?
$4.50.
Yes, correct. Okay. What is the best way to create a budget? Put everything into one jar and withdraw it from it as needed. Divide your money into categories according to what the money is for. Divide your money in half, save half and spend half. Or put $20 into savings, 20 into IOU, and the rest into spending. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Any guesses? Leonie?
Yanni? Oops, sorry.
B.
Yes, you're going to divide your money into categories according to what the money is for. So you have your income, then you'll have, you want savings, you want giving, you have, bills. So those will be the different categories. Okay. Your little sister tells you she wants to buy some taffy from the store, but doesn't have enough money. If you give her the money and make her promise to pay it back, what are you doing? Are you lending her money, borrowing her money, taxing her money, or budgeting her money? So your sister wants something from the store, she doesn't have enough money.
Zanaya?
A.
Yes, you're lending her money.
Me and my siblings do that all the time.
Right. You better pay me back. No. Which of these is a reason to keep your money in a savings account? Your money will be safe. You'll earn interest. It will help remind you to save for your goals, all of the above.
Deani?
All of the above.
Yeah. What is a vendor? I think this was one of our crosswords last week. Someone who sells a product, a machine where you can buy soda and snacks, a type of savings account, or someone who has a budget.
Zanaya?
A.
Yes, someone who sells a product. 13, what's interest? Money that you put into a savings account, money that a bank pays you regularly to keep your money in a savings account, money left over after you pay expenses, or money that you spend on your hobbies. We just talked about interest. We just talked about it.
Deani?
C.
No.
Denia?
B, yes. So the interest is the money that a bank pays you, remember, to keep your money in a savings account. So your savings will get interest. Okay, that's the money they give you for keeping your money in the bank. Okay, what's the difference between a deposit and a withdrawal? We kind of discussed that as well. There are different words for the same thing. A deposit is a type of budget and a withdrawal is a type of bank account. A deposit is when you take money out of a bank account, and withdrawal is when you put money in, or a deposit is when you put money into a bank account, and a withdrawal is when you take money out.
Denia?
D.
Did she say D?
Mhm.
Okay, yes, correct. Deposit, you put money in, withdrawal, you're taking it out. 15, you decided to start making and selling brownies. You want to team up with a friend. What would that mean for your business? So A, you'll be able to make more brownies. B, you'll probably be able to sell more brownies. C, you'll have to split your profits, or D, all of the above.
Deani?
All of the above.
Exactly. Because when you have another person, you can make more, you can sell more, but then you have to split the profits. 16, which of the following is true about sales tax? A, it includes the prices of things that you buy. It's included in. B, it's added on top of your final total at the store. C, kids don't have to pay sales tax. Or D, sales tax can only be paid for with change. This is one of the crossword puzzle words too.
Denia?
Is it A?
No, close. We got 3 minutes. Anyone else want to try? Not A, so it's not included. So remember, sales, you buy something and then
Denia?
D.
yeah, so it's added on top of your final total at the store. So you'll have your total, you have your sales tax, and then you'll have the total at the end. Okay, what happens if you spend money on something you didn't plan for in your budget? A, you'll have to pay an extra fee because you didn't plan to spend that much. B, you'll never reach your savings goal. C, you'll need to look at your budget and change it for the new expense. Or D, you can't spend money if you didn't budget for it.
Denia or Deani? I mean,
C.
Yes, you'll need to look at your budget and change it for the new expense. So you may have to take money from another category. Okay, 18. You're dying for, our presenters here, you're dying for a pair of snatcher sneakers to wear to school, but they're expensive. What is this an example of? A long-term goal, a need, an emergency purchase, or an investment?
Zanaya.
A.
Yes, a long-term goal. So you can't afford it now, so you want to save up to get it later. What does it mean if you have debt? You have money in a savings account, you owe someone money, you have a budget, or someone owes you money.
Deani.
B.
Yes, you owe someone money. We're going to try to get through these last 5 real quick. What 2 things should you track in a budget? I need to read them. Income and expenses, expenses and savings, income and sales tax, or candy and video games.
Zanaya.
A.
Yes, income and expenses. 21, good news. The bike that you want is $35 off. What should you do with the leftover money if your goal is to keep saving? Buy some sweet wheels and a personalized helmet, put it back in your wallet, deposit it in your savings account, or keep it handy. You might want to buy something else soon.
Deani.
C.
Yes, deposit it in your savings. Put it away. Why is competition between sellers good for shoppers? It's funny to watch. It gives them more choices and better prices. It gives them more deposits and lower sales tax, or it means that there will be more sales tax.
Denaya.
B.
Yeah, it gives them more choices and better prices. Correct. 23, you've reached your goal of saving enough money for a hoverboard. Now what? Set a new financial goal and start saving toward it. You no longer have to keep a budget. Congratulations. You get a bonus of $20, or you can't buy it until you earn even more money.
Deani.
A.
Yes, set a new financial goal and start saving for it. Exactly. 24, what will help you sell the most at your lemonade stand? Buying cheaper lemons so you can make more lemonade. Pricing your lemonade 5 cents lower than other stands so more people come. Asking your friend to help so that she can serve more customers, or all of the above.
Zanaya.
B.
That's one of them.
Denaya.
All of the above.
Yeah, so all these will help you sell more lemonade at your lemonade stand. Okay, last one. You earned $8 in cash from babysitting. What's the first thing you should always do? Spend it, enter $8 in your budget as income, put it all in a savings account, or withdraw the money so you can spend it.
Denaya.
C.
No, something else you would want to do first.
Deani.
B.
Yeah, so first you want to enter $8 in your budget as income. Okay. And then if you wanted to put it in savings, you would put that as your expense. Yeah, we got them all right. All right, so we're gonna stop sharing. And we have our presenter today, Mr. Chase. If you guys, I think most, I don't know if you guys met him. A lot of new faces. He is from Weave. And, you know, Escape Velocity, we're part of the Healthy Black Families Collaborative. So we've asked him to come out and talk to you guys about financial abuse April is Financial Literacy Month, so we've been doing a lot of financial literacy this month. So now we want to give you more information about financial abuse. So I'll let him introduce himself and he can start.
Thank you, Ms. Felicia. Hi, everybody. It's really great to be back. I think I was here back in maybe December. I think that sounds about right. And we talked a little bit about healthy relationships. So I'm happy to be back and to share some knowledge with everybody. So yeah, as Ms. Felicia said, my name is Chase. I work with Weave. I manage our prevention and education department. So for those of you who don't know, Weave, we are a local nonprofit in Sacramento, and we promote safe and healthy relationships in the community. And so the way that we do that, we provide services for folks who are in abusive relationships. We provide legal support. We also provide some safe housing, and we like to come out and provide presentations to the community so that, if you know better, you do better. So if you understand what financial abuse looks like, you can either A, avoid being somebody who financially abuses someone, or B, seek support, right? And get some help if you realize that you are in a financially abusive situation. So it's nice to see everybody. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. All right, cool. So hopefully everybody can see that. You should just see some hands laying on top of each other, and it should say all relationships, all genders, all ages, all people, all the time. And that is what we do. That is who we support at Weave. We support everybody. And that all ages piece is particular for us, right? Because y'all are younger folks, and I'm coming here now to share some information with you so that you have this information as you get older and you start to get into relationships, right? So yeah, as I said, we promote safe and healthy relationships and support survivors of any form of sexual assault, domestic violence, and sex trafficking. So April is Financial Literacy Month, right? And I have to say that you are all very, very lucky to have folks in your life who are talking to you about finances, because I'm one of those kids who didn't know anything about finances, didn't know anything about budget. And, when I went to college, I ended up taking everything out on student loans, right? So now I'm spending a lot of time post-college trying to pay that back. And if I'd have known a little bit better about, what a loan is, what it looks like to repay a loan, I might have avoided that, right? So today we're specifically going to talk about financial abuse, right? The ways that people use money to control the people that they're in relationships with. That's basically what financial abuse is, okay? So before we go over financial abuse, I want to just go over the healthy aspects of a relationship real quick. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but I think it's helpful to review. So when I tell you all the types of a healthy relationship, or what makes that relationship healthy, while we're learning about financial abuse, it'll click. You'll be like, oh, that's not healthy. Oh, that's not communication, right? That's not consensual. So let's talk about healthy relationships first, okay? There are 6 parts of a healthy relationship. There are 6 things that you need in a healthy relationship. Chances are you have all been doing all of these things already, right? In a healthy relationship, you have to respect the person you're in a relationship with, right? Whether this is a romantic partner or a friend, or a mentor, or another peer or a classmate, right? You need to respect those people. You got to have open communication in a healthy relationship. You need to be able to support each other, right? In whatever way feels best for you. Negotiation. So, you got to find middle ground. Honesty and trust, and consent. So let's go over those real quick, right? Let's just spend a minute or two on each of them, so that make sure that you understand kind of what we're talking about. So when I talk about respect, what I'm talking about here is honoring the people in your life as they are, right? You're not trying to change them. You're not trying to trick them to be different. You're not hoping that they were different. You accept them for who they are, right? You acknowledge they are who they are, quirks and everything, right? They might be a little out there sometimes, but you respect that and you love them and you care about them, right? Respect also means that you respect people's boundaries, right? So we all have boundaries. We all have lines, right? That we say, hey, don't cross that, or buttons that we don't want pushed, right? Those are boundaries. That's us saying that if you cross this line, if you push this button, you're in a space where you might harm me, right? And if you want to avoid that, respect my boundary, right? Don't push that button. So a lot of the huge part of respect as well is just making sure you're respecting each other's boundaries, each other's identities, each other's morals, your values, right? You're not trying to change those things. They just are what they are, and you accept those. When we talk about communication in a healthy relationship, yeah, we're talking about talking, right? Like when you talk to your friends, you talk, if you have a partner, you talk to your partner, you talk to your family. And yeah, I'm talking about, just having chit chat and stuff, but I'm also talking about communicating about bigger things, right? In a healthy relationship, you're able to communicate about difficult things, just as you are able to communicate about good things, right? I'm not saying it's easy to communicate about difficult things, but you can, right? You can tell somebody that you're in a relationship with, hey, that thing that you did, it didn't make me feel good, right? You're communicating about something that they did that didn't make you feel good. And if you're in a healthy relationship with that person will say, okay, thank you for telling me. I didn't know that I had harmed you, and it won't happen again, right? That's communication. You're talking about how you're feeling. You're talking about where you're at. Another thing about communication is, we just talked about boundaries and we talked about respect. Somebody can't respect your boundaries if they don't know what they are, right? So if you're not communicating what your boundaries are, people aren't going to know what that is, okay? Communication also means being able to share secrets with someone and not worry that it's going to get out, right? Knowing that you can trust what you tell that person is going to stay with that person, and they'll keep your privacy for you, okay? One thing that I do want to point out about communication, the last thing I'll say is that you can't communicate with somebody if you're yelling at them, right? Yelling and shouting and screaming is not an effective way to communicate. And oftentimes it makes people feel more defensive. So whatever you were trying to communicate to that person, they're not hearing, right? Because they're yelling at them. So healthy communication also means trying to communicate in effective ways too. So support in a healthy relationship, it's like, it is what it is. It's showing up for someone when they need it, right? And support also means you're showing up for that person in a way that feels good for them, right? You're not assuming what they need. You're asking them, hey, what can I do to support you, right? And when they tell you, that's what you do, right? So for some folks, maybe it's showing up for your friend's game. Maybe it's going to see your friend in a play. Maybe it's going to Sunday school with your friend because they want you to check out their church community, right? It could look a lot of different ways to support someone, but it basically means I've got your back, right? Negotiation, I always like to also add a compromise here because you can't really negotiate with someone if you're not willing to compromise. And the reason this is here is because in relationships, you're going to disagree. You are not going to agree on everything, and that is okay. Right? We're all different people. We all have different wants, needs, likes. And so we're not always going to see eye to eye, and that's okay. What's important, though, is that if you're not seeing eye to eye, that you figure out a way to negotiate, right? That you figure out a way to compromise and find middle ground with that person, right? So let's say that you and your friends, you want to hang out. One friend wants to go to the movies. One friend wants to go swimming. The other friend wants to go roller skating, right? So you guys got to figure out how to compromise. You want to hang out, you want to spend time together. How do you compromise? Maybe you go play putt-putt golf, right? Maybe you go do something totally different than what you all suggested as a way of compromising, of saying, we still want to spend time with each other, so we're going to compromise and find some middle ground. Last thing I'll say about compromise and negotiation: you never have to compromise your morals, your values, and your safety, and your belief system. Okay. You don't have to compromise on that. You don't have to negotiate with somebody about your safety, okay? Honesty and trust. I start this one off by just simply asking the question, how do you build trust with someone, right? The only way, right, time, right, effort, and honesty. The only way to build trust with somebody is to be honest with them, right? You can't build trust with people that you're lying to. The same, you can't trust people who are lying to you, right? Hiding things from somebody, right? That's not honest. The last thing I'll kind of say about honesty and trust is that, another part of honesty and trust is just being honest about how you're feeling, right? And trusting that when you tell that person how you're feeling, that they're going to validate that for you, okay? Because you've built this healthy relationship with them, right? And then the last thing I'll go over is consent. Consent is exactly what it says on the screen there. It's a yes. Consent is permission to do something, okay? So we ask for consent for any form of physical activity that we're going to do that's going to involve another person, right? If you're going up to your friend and you're going to hug them, ask for a hug, right? If your partner wants to kiss you on the cheek when they say goodbye for the day, they need to ask before they do that, right? They can't just lean in. Just because you've agreed to be their partner doesn't mean that your body belongs to them. You still get a choice. So you have to ask, right? And that's what consent is. It's asking, listening for the answer, and respecting the answer, okay? So that's what a healthy relationship looks like. So now on the other side, and I wanna note that we are gonna talk a little bit about some other forms of abuse that might not be as easy to talk about as financial abuse, all right? Financial abuse, it doesn't necessarily make people squeamish, the way that some of these other types of abuse might. I just wanna validate that talking about these types of abuse can be difficult. So if you start to feel some sort of way, just honor that and validate that within yourself. It's okay, okay? So let's talk about these types of abuse. The most important thing to remember about abuse, including financial abuse, is that the reason people use abusive behaviors and do abusive things is to try to maintain power and control in a relationship for whatever reason. Maybe they're insecure, maybe they think their partner is going to leave them, whatever their reason for being abusive. The reason they're doing it is because they want to maintain power and control in the relationship, right? They want to maintain power over you and how the relationship plays out. That's all that abuse is. And so there's different ways that people abuse in order to maintain that power and control, okay? There are different ways that people harm others in order to do that. One way is physical abuse. So physical abuse, that looks like, anything physical, anything physically on your body. So hitting, kicking, punching, scratching, slapping, pushing, shoving, threats of violence, right? Threatening to do something violent to you because they don't like what you said, right? Destroying your belongings, right? Any of you have any little siblings who've destroyed something of yours, right? It doesn't feel good when somebody does that. And then what happens, right? You got to replace it. That person doesn't, right? Or maybe if they're a good person, they will, but really should just not destroy things in the first place, right? So destroying something of somebody's, putting somebody in an unsafe situation where in some way you're compromising their safety, meaning you've put them in a situation where they can't guarantee that they're going to be safe, okay? Emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is, you can see in that picture, it's got the brain. That's what that is. Emotional abuse is all trying to mess with your head. It's messing with your emotions. It's making you believe things that aren't true. It's manipulation, right? Making fun of somebody, teasing somebody, cyberbullying, putting someone down, telling them that they're useless, that they can't do anything, right? Any of those types of things that you say to people to try to hurt their feelings. All of that is emotional abuse, right? And some of you have probably heard of the term gaslighting before, right? Gaslighting is this, it's crazy making. It's this idea that that you experienced something, right? But your abusive partner or the abusive person you're in a relationship with is trying to convince you that what you experienced wasn't real, right? Maybe, let's say I'm a teacher and I see a student cheating. So I walk up to that student cheating on a test and I say, hey, what are you doing? You're cheating. And they slide the paper aside and they say, no, I'm not. I'm like, no, you got a paper there. You're cheating. No, I'm not. I'm not cheating. Right? That student's trying to gaslight me, trying to make me think that I'm crazy, that they're not cheating, that I was seeing things, right? And the reason they do that is to manipulate you. Because the reality is if you can control someone's emotions, You can control a person, right? So sexual abuse, this one is also pretty straightforward. Sexual abuse is any form of sexual contact, behavior, activity, saying something sexual to somebody without their consent, okay? So that means if somebody wants to hug you or kiss you, they need to ask. They need to literally ask, not say, hey, can I hug you maybe? Or they need to just straight up ask, can I hug you? And then you get to say yes or no. And then they get to respect that, right? The last thing we'll say about sexual abuse is making fun of anybody who identifies as gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, bisexual, pansexual, intersex, any of those LGBTQ terms. Making fun of somebody because of that is also a form of sexual abuse, okay? Making fun of someone because they're gay, that's sexual abuse, okay? It's also harassment. We're gonna skip financial abuse because that's what I'm here to talk about. And let's talk about spiritual abuse real quick. So spiritual abuse, when you think of spirit, right? You think of spirituality. And when a lot of us think of spirituality, we think of religion, right? It's that, right? Spiritual abuse is could be denying somebody access to their religion or making somebody feel ashamed for the religion that they are or that they practice. But spiritual abuse could also be like getting in the way of those things that make us feel good, right? That make us feel whole. Those things that refresh us, right? So not allowing you time for self-care, right? Maybe not allowing you to have your own sports and hobbies, or giving you a hard time when you try to engage in other sports and hobbies, okay? Maybe trying to isolate you from your friends or family. All those are types of spiritual abuse. And then lastly, we'll talk about technological abuse. So technological abuse is all of these other forms of abuse online using technology, right? So if we think about physical abuse, if you're sending somebody threats, right? If you're texting somebody threats, I'm gonna kick your butt, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? That's technological abuse. It's also physical abuse. Emotional abuse, I already said earlier, cyberbullying, right? That all happens online. It is technological abuse, but as we talked about earlier, it's also emotional abuse. If y'all hear a bunch of sounds and crashes, I apologize. I just got a new kitten, and her and my older kitten are very loud when they play. So I apologize if you hear any crashing or any crazy sounds like that. Sexual abuse online, technological abuse, that looks like sending inappropriate pictures, right? Asking for inappropriate pictures, taking pictures without people's permission. That could be a form of sexual abuse. We'll skip financial abuse again. Spiritual abuse online is really making fun of people, right? Telling people that the things that they believe aren't true. Any of that stuff online, okay? And the last thing I'll say about tech abuse, it's GPS tracking as well, like GPS tracking without consent. So you know how you have that Find My Friends ability on your iPhone? That's great. If you want to use Find Your Friends with your friends, that's great. But there's got to be consent, right? Everybody has to say, yes, I'm okay with you being able to track where I'm at. And if they are okay with it, great. If not, don't turn it on, okay? All right, so those are the types of abuse. Let's wrap back and let's dig in. Let's dig into talking about financial abuse, okay? So financial abuse is when a person attempts to control another person's ability to earn money and spend it however they choose, okay? So we think about earning money, right? It's usually you have a job to earn money, so maybe they're limiting their ability to access their job. When we talk about spending it however they choose, when we talk about older couples, right? When adults are in relationships, is your partner giving you an allowance, right? Your partner shouldn't be giving you an allowance. Your parents can give you an allowance, right? But in a relationship, whether it's romantic or a friendship, everything should be equal, right? So one person shouldn't control the money for another person. That's not how that works. So we know that financial abuse, it's it's rampant. It's out there, and it happens. And it happens more often, I think, than people realize. Because money is one of those things I think a lot of us just don't really talk about, right? That's kind of the way our culture is, which I think is why it's so great that y'all are learning about money this month, right? And your finances. But a lot of times we don't talk about money. And so people might not realize that they're being harmed financially by someone that they're supposed to be in a relationship with, right? So about 31% of American teens, 13 to 18 years old, have experienced financial abuse. That's a lot, right? Over 30%, right? That's more than, well, that's a little less than 1 in 3, but it's basically 1 in 3, right? That's a lot of teenagers who are experiencing manipulation by their partners, right? Using their money. That's a lot of people. So let's talk about some examples of financial abuse and some things that you might see, right? This could look very different for someone, say my age and your mid-30s. Financial abuse is going to definitely look different for me than it will for you, right? But I still want to give you a couple of examples of some things that you might see, some things that you want to watch out for, some red flags. So if one person is always expected to pay for activities, right? Whenever you go out to dinner, if there's just one person who's always expected to pay, or they're responsible for most of the expenses in the relationship, right? So if you have two people who are living together and one person is paying all the bills and the other person sits at home playing PlayStation all day, you might have a little bit of financial abuse going on, right? Because that one person isn't putting in their fair share, right? This relationship is not equal, right? Another example is one person often buys gifts for the other that are not reciprocated. So I want to say that I'm not always great about giving gifts back, especially to my parents, right? My parents are really great about getting me birthday gifts. I'm not always great about getting them gifts for their birthdays. But that's a little different, right? What we're talking about here is that there's an expectation that the gifts are going to be bought and that you're not going to get anything. That if you buy your friend a stuffed animal, the expectation is that you're going to buy that stuffed animal for your friend, give it to your friend, and then they're not going to give you anything, right? We're in a space again where it's not equal. So maybe it's like, maybe this month you gave your friend a gift and then, next month they gave you a gift. Maybe it doesn't have to be, right away that it's equal, but somewhere down the line, that gift should be reciprocated. Maybe it's not a gift for a gift. Maybe they do something else for you, right? But there's an acknowledgement that a gift was purchased, that money was used to purchase this gift, and that the other person wants to acknowledge that and also maintain the equity in the relationship. And the great way to do that is by getting you a gift or giving you something else. Maybe they make you dinner, or maybe they invite you over for dinner, okay? One person monitors the allowance or the income of the other and even demands access to it. So again, when you're in a grown relationship, your partner should not be giving you an allowance. If your partner is giving you an allowance, your partner might be manipulating you, right? You, especially if it's your money, if they give you an allowance of your money, that's not how that works. If you earn that money, if you worked for it, it's your money and you get to decide what you do with it. Nobody else, okay? So another part of this was demanding access, right? So if you've earned over the last few months, you've earned $50 babysitting and your friend comes to you and is like, I want to buy a game, so I'm going to need you to give me that money that you earned babysitting. It's not an ask, they're not saying, hey, can I borrow? They're saying, give me that money, right? They demand it. They demand access to it. That's a form of financial abuse. If one person has to ask permission from another to spend the money, right? That might be looking at financial abuse. I do want to point out, right, that for some of these, you might see this and be like, well, my dad always asks my mom before he buys something big, right? That's a little different, right? Because they're a married couple, and when they got married, they decided this is how this relationship is going to work best, right? Maybe your dad's like me, and he's not good with money. I'm not good with money. As I told you, I didn't learn until I was, in my 30s. I'm getting better. So my ex and I, the way we did it is that I did all the grocery shopping. I cooked most of the meals, and she paid the bills. But there was consent, okay? There was consent. And if I was gonna buy something big, I just ran it by her. I didn't ask permission, right? I don't gotta do all that. But I just said, hey, I think I want to buy this thing. Where are we at financially? Is this something that I can do? Okay. So asking permission is a no-no. That means that you're being manipulated. That means that your money is being controlled. That means that your money is no longer, you don't freely have access to your own money. Okay. Now, in the future, if you decide that that's how you want to set up your relationship with your partner, then that's up to you, but it has to be done consensually, and it can't be done with force and manipulation. Okay. One person is constantly asking you to miss work shifts to spend time with them. This one I think is really hard for when you're a teenager and you've got your first job. It can be hard to hear that your friends asking you to miss shifts, because that might be a little bit of financial abuse, right? So here's the thing. What I will say is that we all sometimes will play hooky at some point in our lives, right? There will be days where we wake up and we're like, you know what? I don't have it in me today. I can't go to the office and sit in front of a computer for 8 hours today. Or I can't go to school and listen to my teacher yap at me all day, right? We all have those days where we get to play hooky. But again, it is our choice, right? We're not being forced. We're not being manipulated. If you have a friend who, no matter what day it is, when you have to work, they are inevitably going to call you and be like, blow it off. Come hang out with me. A couple things are going on there, right? They're not respecting you. Right? We talked about that in a healthy relationship. They're not respecting you. They're not respecting your needs or your desires, which is to have a job, right? Whether or not you need that job to support your family, or if you just have it for extra spending money for yourself, it's something that you want, that you have a right to, and they're not respecting that, right? And then another thing I'll say about, I just want to make sure it doesn't show up here. Another thing I want to say about the work thing. Another thing that we see in financial abuse is people being harassed at work by their partners, by their abusive partners. Okay, so let's say you work at In-N-Out, and you're working the fry machine. You're the person chopping the fries, chopping the potatoes for the fries, right? Let's say your partner shows up every time you're at work and just sits in one of the booths and just watches you work every time. At some point, your boss is going to start to be like, who is this person? Do you know this person? Are they here with you? And then eventually they're going to tell you, look, this is a place of business. They can't just come here and hang out, right? So at that point, your partner or that person could be getting in the way of you being able to maintain that job and make money, right? And that is a form of financial abuse, right? Because it's controlling another person's ability to earn money, okay? So showing up at somebody's job, constantly harassing, stalking, or just sitting there. It's not cute. It's not cool, right? That person's got a job to do. Let them do their job. Let them be professional, and y'all can hang out later, okay? Last one. One person is forced to do things they don't want to do for money. That is absolutely a form of financial abuse. Any exchange of affection, anything like that for funds, for money, is a form of financial abuse, okay? We don't trade our affection for money. We don't. And you shouldn't be asked to do that in a healthy relationship, okay? Now, this does not mean that you have to do your chores and do the dishes and clean the house for money. That's not what we're talking about, right? Again, those are your parents. They're responsible for you, responsible for making sure that you grow into a responsible human being. And a part of growing into a responsible human being is doing chores. And they're kind enough to give you no allowance for it, right? That's different. You're earning that money. That's a social contract that you have with your parents. versus someone that you're in a relationship with who says, hey, if you do this thing, I'll give you 20 bucks. Right? We cannot be bought for money. We are worth far more than that. Okay? All right. So I've got a quick activity that I want to do. I've got 3 scenarios here. And what I want to do is I'm going to read them. And then I'd love if somebody would raise their hand and say to me, hey, Chase, I think that that sounds healthy. Or, hey, Chase, I think that that sounds concerning. Like that's a red flag. Or, Chase, that's unhealthy. That is abusive. That should not happen. Okay? So does that sound okay? What, y'all gonna participate for me? Yes, I see some head nods. Yes, don't leave me hanging. I love it. Thank you. All right, first one. So all I need you to do, tell me, is this healthy? Is it kind of concerning, like kind of in between, like it could be bad, it could get worse, or is it completely unhealthy, abusive? Okay. First one, your friend asked to borrow some money, some of the money you saved up from babysitting. They pay it back as soon as they can. What do we think? Healthy, concerning, or unhealthy? Diani.
Healthy.
Yeah, nailed it. Exactly. That is healthy. Very good. So they're asking, right? There's not an expectation. They're asking, and they're going to hit you back, right? They're going to give you your money back. You're not going to leave you hanging. Okay, good, good. Next one. Your friend asks you to miss a work shift so that you can hang out with them. Yeah, Jordan.
That's unhealthy.
I think so. I think that's unhealthy. Yeah, I agree. Now, I have it here as a red flag. What do you think could make that more of a red flag and less abusive? What do you think? It's okay if you don't know. I can tell you. So let's say that was the first time that happened, right? That's the first time ever your friend said to you, hey, you got a job? What? I didn't know you got a job. Psh, screw that job. Come hang out with me, girl. That's the first time, right? So it's a red flag because it's, first of all, it might be a sign that that person doesn't respect the fact that you want to make some money and go to your job. But maybe they just don't know how important your job is to you, right? So what you can do is just say to your friend, hey, my job's actually pretty important to me. I'm not much on missing work shifts. I need this job. You know, I'm saving for college. And if they say, yeah, duh, that's cool. Yeah, no, look at you being all responsible. Okay, go ahead with your bad self, right? If they say that, if they respond positively to you, then it was just a red flag. You corrected it, and you get to move on. Now, if that behavior continues to happen, then Jordan's absolutely right. That is unhealthy, abusive behavior. And even if it only happens once, if it feels concerning or unhealthy for you, then it is, right? I'm not here to tell you that it's not. Okay. Last one. Your friend tells you that you shop too much and they demand that you stop. What do you think? Adele, yeah.
I'd say that it's a little concerning.
Yeah, I would say it's concerning. Calvary, I think you had your hand up too. What did you think?
Red flag.
Red flag, yeah. I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna say that was abusive, right? Your money, and obviously, like I'm giving you very simple scenarios, right? There's probably more context to this, but fact of the matter is, your money, you get to spend it however you want. Your friend doesn't get to decide what she said. You spend too much. She don't get to decide that. She don't get to judge that, right? Your money, you spend it how you want. Okay. Great job with that, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening. So, what do you do if you think you're experiencing financial abuse? Well, the best thing that you can do is reach out to someone you trust and talk to them about it. And I don't mean like your best friend. I don't mean like your partner. I'm talking about an adult, right? So maybe it's an older cousin that you look up to who supports you, who you trust. Maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's Miss Felicia, right? Yeah, Calvary, what's up?
I want all of my cousins that I really see, I'm really the oldest out of all of them.
You're the oldest cousin? Dang. Okay, well, you can't go to your cousins. You might have to. So then you can go to your mom, right? You can go to a parent. You can go to Miss Felicia, right? You could reach out to me at Weave and say, hey, Chase, this person is doing this weird thing with my money and I don't feel good about it, right? I'm a resource, okay? That's a great point, Calvary. Thanks for bringing that up. The last thing that you could do is you can reach out to Weave. So I kind of already said that by saying to reach out to me. But, you know, at Weave, we are here 24/7, all day, every day. We're here for questions. We're here for crisis. We're here to talk through something with somebody, right? If you call us and you're just like, I had this situation, this is what happened, I'm not sure what to do about it, we'll talk through it with you, right? We don't make choices for you. We don't tell you how to deal with things. We give you options and then we support you through going through those options, right? So if you're experiencing some form of financial abuse and you're not sure what parent to reach out to or what adult to reach out to, maybe you're not supposed to be dating, right? Reach out to us, right? Because we're here as a resource and we're here to support. And we've been talking about money. Weave is free. You can come to us for free. We're not going to charge you for anything, right? Anytime, okay? So that's kind of what I've got. I do want to just, at the end of all my presentations, I always like to say, again, we are available for 24/7 support. I'm not available 24/7. However, Miss Felicia knows how to get a hold of me. So if you ever need anything, if you have a question about anything I talked about, please reach out to Miss Felicia. She can reach out to me and I can get you an answer, okay? Also, our Weave support line is that 916-920-2952 number there at the bottom. And the last thing I'll suggest is the loveisrespect.org. Even if you're not in crisis, I tell all my students that I see every day, go check out the website, right? It's if you're bored one day, you don't have anything to do, go check out loveisrespect.org. They've got some interesting stuff. They've got some comics. You can take a love quiz to find out, you know, is my relationship healthy? Is it unhealthy? If it's unhealthy, what can I do about it, right? And they also provide crisis support too. So if you're feeling, some sort of way about reaching out to a local resource, you also have this national resource as well. That's an option, okay? I talked a lot. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anything that you saw there, you're like, well, Chase, that doesn't seem right. Can you say more? Anything? No?
I don't have a question. It's kind of more of a statement. For the signs for abusive relationships, the spiritual portion, the spiritual, I never even thought to think about spiritual abuse. So I think that was cool that you touched on that.
Oh, good. Thank you, Shay. Yeah. It's it's and now when you hear about it, right, it sounds specific at first when you think spiritual. Oh, that's just about religion. It's about everything that we enjoy, right? It's about somebody trying to take away anything that you enjoy. So I'm glad that was helpful for you, Shay. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other last thoughts or questions? No? All right. Well, I think what y'all are doing is great. I'm so glad you're learning about money. You're going to go out there. You're going to be financially empowered when you're my age. And you're not going to make the same mistakes that I do. And if you do, you're going to know how to correct them sooner than I did.
Calvary has a question.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
Wait, I forgot. What is emotional abuse again?
Good question. Emotional abuse is when somebody tries to hurt your feelings. If somebody is purposely hurting your feelings in order to bring you harm. So making fun of you, name calling, telling you that you can't do anything right or that you don't do anything well, right? Maybe it could be manipulating you, right? And then the one thing that we talked about was gaslighting, which is this idea of trying to make somebody feel crazy, right? Like trying to make somebody think that what they experienced wasn't real.
So like, yeah. So like if So like if what can I use as an example? Like if I have a friend, I have this one friend back in my old school, and she used to wear glasses, and I forgot. There was like 2 bullies at our school, and they used to come over to her and say, "Hey, have you ever heard of an alien?" And she used to say, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Well, go look in the mirror, 4 eyes."
Oh. They were telling that joke when I was a kid, and it's still not funny, right? It's still mean. So yeah, that is a form of financial abuse. So here's, or not financial abuse, I'm sorry. That's a form of emotional abuse, right? Any of that, making fun of somebody. And if it's a classmate, that's someone that is a peer. So that's someone that, in theory, you should be in a healthy relationship with that person, right? So if they're making fun of your friend, that's abuse. That's emotional abuse. It's bullying.
I told the principal and they got a call home. But the next day he said, "Hey, you snitched on me, 4 eyes." And I said, "No, it wasn't her. It was me. And what are you gonna do?"
I love that you stood up for your friend. I love that you stood up for your friend like that, Calvary. I think if we had way more people who were willing to just stand up and say, "Hey, no, that's not cool," our world would be a much better place. I think it's so brave of you to stand up for your friends. And it makes a difference, right? When you stand up for someone, you're validating that what that person did wasn't okay, right? You're saying, "I'm not going to co-sign on that. That wasn't cool." Yeah, you did the right thing. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? No? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Chase. We appreciate you coming again and presenting as always. And thank you, girls, for participating. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause. Very good information. I hope you girls were taking notes. And again, like he said, you can always reach out to me if you want to get questions to him. And then, the information, the resources on this page right here, make sure you take it down and have it. And we thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies, for being so respectful and being so engaged. I appreciate it. Everybody, you guys have a great night, okay? Bye.
I'm going to put a link in the chat, and I want you guys to complete this survey for me. Okay, so I'll give you a couple minutes to complete the survey, please. And everyone to complete it. And again, Escape Velocity, like I said, we're part of the Healthy Black Families Collaborative. So we work with Weave to help, the Black community. And we talk about the domestic violence, different types of abuses, and, bringing awareness to, you guys, to the book clubs and stuff. So I'd like to get your feedback and make sure, you guys are understanding what is getting presented to you and stuff. So I'll give you about, when you're done, just, I don't know, give a thumbs up